All right, everybody, you know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. All right, everybody, welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister, Jonathan Simmons, and we thank God for those of you who decided to join us here on the broadcast this afternoon, or I should say this evening, and we're excited to be here. Another day of sports, another weekend of big sports stuff going on, and we're going to have some guests on. We're going to talk a little NBA Finals. Question is whether Steph and the Warriors, where they rank overall and kind of the top 10 teams, the greatest teams of all time. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Hawks. Rumors rumbling around about a John Collins trade is being imminent. And also we have a new general manager. Travis Schlenk, no longer the general manager. He's now the president of basketball operations. So we're talking about that and also talk about WNBA, a lot of good stuff. So you guys keep it locked right here. I'm going to let you know who I am here. Pop that up on the screen. You can follow me on social media. There it is right there. You can follow me at Minister J Sim, or you also can follow me at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. And we would connect with you any way we can. Or if you have a great sportscast, hit me up. J Simmons at realtalksports.net, or call me on the cell 678-410-9833. Well, anytime I do this show, I bring on one of the most beautiful women in sports talk radio or TV. We simply call her the Queen. Miss Tree Dolman is in the building. Tree, welcome back.
Hi, Jonathan. Hi, everybody.
What's going on? And of course, when we have the Queen, we also have to have a champion. He is a member of the Fort Valley State Sports Hall of Fame, over a decade in the NFL, and played for not one, but 2 Super Bowl champions with the New England Patriots. And he's a darn swell guy. The one and only Tyrone Poole's in the building. Tyrone, welcome back, sir.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Hello, Miss Tree, the Queen. Hey, how you doing, Jonathan, and everybody watching and listening? Yeah, I'm in my Raiders gear, baby.
Hold up.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got the jersey on tonight.
The Raiders.
Do I need to pad up? I need to pad up.
Come on, let's go.
He came with the jersey tonight.
He's ready. Showtime, go time for Mr. Tyrone Poole in the building. He's ready to go. See, that's what happens, boys, when you work that thing. You're ageless wonder. Doesn't matter how old you are, you're ready to go. Tyrone Poole, number 38 in the building. Well, guys, great weekend. It's hot. See, this is a northern guy talking. Let me not say that. It's seasonably warm for Georgia in the summertime. I'm not going to say it's hot. It just is what it is. 90 degrees is what it's supposed to be because we're in Georgia and it's June. So, amen. Just thankful I got air conditioning.
Atlanta for no reason.
Amen. And listen, I'm just praising God for the man who developed air conditioning. Because, amen, if it wasn't for that, I might be struggling to make it, but that's okay. We thank God for him and thank God for you guys for joining us here on the Real Talk Sports Show. And again, for those of you who want to join us, I'm going to do this here. I'm going to take time out for just a second. I'm going to actually put this here on social media. I know sometimes people say, well, we can't call in. Okay, no worries. Here's what you can do. I'll put it on the screen. And if you guys desire, like Zoom, you can come on in and be part of the show. Here it is right there. There, you click on, just paste the link, click it into your phone or to your laptop, and you can join us. I will tell you here, just a disclaimer, can't come on doing no cussing. You can't come on using any type of epithets of any type because I will take you off the screen. Okay, so if you want to come on, there it is. There's a link right there. We'll bring you on. We'll see you in the green room and pop you on. If you don't want to have your face on, you can do it like Zoom. Just hit the avatar button, and we won't see you. We'll just hear you. But there's a link right there. Again, copy and paste that into your browser if you have a laptop or on your phone. And again, if you're on the laptop and you log in, you have to log out of the social media that you were in. Else we're going to have a wicked echo. All right, but it is right there. You can join the Real Talk Sports Show your own self. All right, guys, great stuff going on here. Let's go ahead and boom. We got some folks already on Facebook. Millicent Turner saying, Big Brother, what up? Shout out to Millicent Turner and all those of you who are watching on social media. Well, WNBA season, the regular season technically is over, but I love them as Tree Dolman wants to give you an update of all the things that are happening in the WNBA. So, Tree, the floor is yours.
Hi. Did you say the WNBA season is over?
Is it? Did you say the regular season was over? We were on the phone. I couldn't hear too good. You said it was over?
No, it's
okay. Well,
not over. It's pretty much just getting started, just about. But all right, so here is your WNBA update, and mainly I'm just giving you the Atlanta Dream update right now since it is regular season. So we know that the Dream came out hot. And unfortunately, they just got back from a four-game road trip where they lost every single game. But it's not really too much to be worried about. Coach feels that the reason that they lost all the 4 games were because they didn't have an opportunity to practice because they were travel from one place to the next. And so right now they're currently standing at 7-8. Tonight, they are playing the Dallas Wings, who are 8-8. And so we are currently ranked number 7, and the Dallas Wings are ranked number 6. So whoever wins tonight, it'll be a tie we'll move up to 6, and they'll move down to 7. But so we've had some players who are injured also. Erica Wheeler, she is a superstar. She's out for a left ankle sprain. We have Tiffany Hayes, who is a star for the Dream. She's out with a right knee injury. And then we also have Kia Vaughn, who is out with protocols for health. So she may have COVID or not. But Ari McDonald, I don't know if everybody remembers her. She was a star in college. So this is her second year playing on the Dream. So she's had to take over at point guard. She scored 20 points. She had 5 rebounds and 6 assists. So I think that the Dream are still in good contention. I think they'll do good things once they get the team fully back and healthy and they're able to spend some time here practicing. They're playing a home game tonight. And at halftime, they were up by about 9 points. So it's looking good so far. So hopefully they can get this win tonight and then they will move to 8-8.
So for you, what's been the biggest key for this team? Has it been improved defense, better offense? What's kind of the reason why the Dream have kind of righted the ship at like you said, at one point, we're several games over 500, but still in the playoff hunt as we speak now?
You know, I really don't think defense. Well, I know defense isn't a problem. The Dream is actually ranked 4th in the league for fewest points scored allowed for a team. So their defense is really phenomenal. If they're 4th for allowing teams to score points, and their average is 78.5 with that. So it's definitely not defense. And when you look at the teams that they lost to on the 4-game road trip, it was the Seattle Storm, it was Phoenix Mercury, it was the Connecticut Sun, and the defending champions, the Chicago Sky. So it was a very tough road game that they had these last 4 games. And so I don't really think it's a problem. I think that they'll be fine and they'll bounce back. This was just a tough road trip. And for not having 2 of their star players, it's going to make a difference.
Tyrone, how hard is it when you have key players out, you know, your team's trying to contend? I mean, how difficult is that for teams to kind of rally together and still make things happen?
Very difficult. We all know it's very difficult. But I will say this right here. The Dream, they are 1 game away from the win total of last year. Last year, they won 8 games. This year, they're at 7 already. It was a 36-game season. So right now, if I'm the front office, I'm very happy in the direction that we're going. So on top of all of what Tree gave you as far as information, I think the Dream are headed in the right direction.
Seems like it, man. No doubt. Go ahead, Tree.
Oh, yeah. So go Dream. I think that this season, like Like Tyrone said, they're already doing better than they were last season. They have a completely new roster. They have new energy. They are proving that they are here to win and be contenders this year. And so I think that they're definitely headed in the right direction. And with them having great defense, we know that that's most of the battle.
What do you think, Jonathan? What do you think about the Dream? I know you cover a lot of the Atlanta sports. The Dream this year and compared to last year, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, definitely they've made some huge improvements in the team. And, Tree talked about this before. It's not only are they playing better on the field, but it kind of started this last year. I think really the shift to their stadium, which is actually right down the road from my house. So shame on me for not getting to more games. Kind of in-game experience. You guys both know it's really critical that you have a kind of that energy at home. We have a home field advantage. So it just seems like they've really kind of tightened that up. In-game experience is a lot better. And now, with better players, improved coaching, it's just good to see them, man, around 500. And I think they got a legitimate shot when everybody comes back to make some noise in the playoffs. I mean, because think of mine, this team, you had a stretch, I think 4 or 5 years, this team had reached at least the semifinals and reached the finals of the WNBA twice. So, we know what it's like to have a winning team here. We know the energy that people had in Atlanta. So, again, all these steps they've made internally and externally looks like they're back to right in the ship and getting the team back in the playoffs. And that's really the key.
Yeah, I tell you what, right now they have a 4-3 record at home so far this season. So if the Dream were playing a 7-game series against themselves, they would have won the championship because they've already won 4 games. So keep it going, Dream. Keep it going. That's a little inside joke, everybody. A little inside joke.
And hopefully tonight it'll be the 5th win at home.
I know. Right?
Yeah, they got to have it. You have to. That's like, the whole idea in a championship team is usually to play like a game or two above 500 on the road, and then to be 600 or 700 winning percentage at home. That's really the key to win championships. So we look forward to the Dream to get hot and to make it happen. Speaking of getting hot, how about them Bravos smoking hot? I think 15-2 in their last 17 games, something like that. Just incredible turnaround for the Braves. Have you guys been paying much attention to our Bravos up the road?
Well, I tell you what, if you look at what they're at what game is this? The 7th, says 68 games so far into the season. If you look at where the Braves were this time last year, just to give you guys a little bit of insight, last year, this time 6/21, 2021. They were going into a 3-game set, a 4-game set with the Mets, all right? And the Braves were sitting at 33-37, all right? So, again, I know the question was proposed earlier during our shows. The Braves, they're not winning. They're not winning. What are they going to do? It's a long season, people, okay? Now, this day, 6/21/2022, the Braves are 39-29. And I got to close with this right here. Everybody talking about Dansby and Freddie Freeman. Actually, Dansby is outperforming Freddie Freeman right now. All right. So all y'all who were talking about Freddie Freeman this, Freddie Freeman that, the Braves are not going to be good. Okay, let's just give a few little numbers here. All right, let's talk about the batting average. Dansby, 293. Freddie Freeman is not really doing that good. So really, again, Dansby, do your thing, man. All right. Good luck to Freddie Freeman too. But hey, guys, don't knock it until you try. But the Bravos are doing good, man. I'm proud of them. Good organization.
No doubt. Speaking of Freddie Freeman, he's going to be back. I think either end of this week or next week. And like the Braves have done, I believe it was tonight or last night, they gave out rings to every one of the players that were on that team, even though they're on another team. So Jock Peterson, who's now in the Giants, got his World Series ring. And it's going to be a big deal when Freddie gets to town to get his. And hey, you guys all talk about this. Like, you got to put on your big boy shoes. Initially, Dansby was feeling some kind of way because Freddie was his boy. But he said, look, man, I'm a professional. Tyrone, you talk about it all the time, being a pro. So he look, man, I can't. The guy is gone. I can't change that. But I'm still on the team. We're trying to win a World Series. And right now, overall, in terms of batting average, runs produced, and home runs, Dansby is actually having one of his best years. So, yeah, kudos to him for just saying, hey, man, listen, that's my boy. But I'm going to have to love them from afar, baby, because I'm still an Atlanta Brave. All right, guys, speaking of being brave, you guys got to be brave for a moment. And you say, why is that? Go ahead and take a break. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a minute. So don't be no chicken and go nowhere. All right, we'll be right back.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
Yes, indeed. A little happy music there. Welcome back to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons. Right next to me is the lovely Ms. Tree Dolman. And right underneath us is the strong man, Mr. Tyrone Poole. All right, guys, speaking basketball, let's stay with it. Okay, NBA Finals, it's over. Mr. Steph Curry has won NBA title number 4. The Warriors as a team have won NBA title number 4 in 8 years. So I'm going to ask both of you guys, where do you look at both the Warriors and Steph Curry in this pantheon of all-time great teams? Where do you kind of you want to put them in the top 10, top 5? What do you think, Ms. Tree Dolman?
Well, first of all, I want to say, who said that the Golden State Warriors were going to win the championship in 6? Who?
Was that you for real?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Hello. Time
okay.
the Boston Celtics, and we knew they were playing the Celtics. I said it, Warriors in 6. So anyway, just another pat on the back there. I just had to get that out. But Steph Curry, like I said, with the Golden State Warriors, when I looked at their roster, they had the dream roster. Oh my goodness, they had everything that a team would need. No, they didn't have just the largest center, but that's not their gameplay. So they're a team, they like to shoot threes, they like to pass the ball, they can go and score, they get rebounds, they play tough defense. And I think, yes, they definitely are top 10. And I do think that Steph is a top 10 player. I've always felt that way. And I think that with him winning Finals MVP, for the doubters that were out there saying, oh, well, he needs to win this and win that. I mean, hello, he's the greatest shooter that the game has ever seen. And I still think that it will be a long time for someone to come after him to beat his records. Do I think they will be broken one day? Yes. Like my husband always said, records are made to be broken. But when you look at his 3-point average that he was shooting in the playoffs and the one game that he went 0 for 9 and didn't make any threes, so that record stopped. But guess who is in second place with the record? Himself. So he only is going against himself. He's not trying to beat any other people. So yes, I think that the Golden State Warriors are a top 10 team. And I think that Stephen Curry is definitely a top 10 player. Actually, I would say top 5.
Whoa, top 5. Tyrone Poole, what you think about that? The Tree saying the Warriors have moved to another level.
So the Warriors as a team. Now, I'm just going to name off some teams that we, from all various sports, that we say, when we think about these teams, that they were dominant. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts about the Golden State Warriors. Okay, let's take football, okay? The Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys, the 92 through the 95 Dallas Cowboys, that season, up under Jimmy Johnson's era with the Cowboys. They were dominant. They had a whip stick. It's like it was the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl and then everybody else, okay? Really, the Super Bowl was them and the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Okay, I think about the San Antonio Spurs, 1999 to 2014. They had a real good run there. Of course, you got to talk about the Patriots again. Talk about the Patriots and their dominance, 2001 to 2014. Even the hockey, you go into hockey, you go back to the 1984 Edmonton Oilers, 1984 to 1990, dominance, again, dominance. Every time you saw a team playing in the championship, it was from that particular sport, it was one of these teams that I'm naming. San Francisco 49ers from 81 to 89, Dominance. Then you talk about the Lakers in 1980, 1988, 2000, 2010. So then when you think about the Warriors, they won the championships basically 2000, 15, 17, 18, then winning it this year. So that run from 15 to 17, I think you got to consider them dominant, and they're still doing it. Now, how long can they continue that dominance? That will be seen. But the teams that have played in Golden State from the 2017 team, I think, arguably, they're going to say that was the best team ever assembled with the Golden State Warriors when they had Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and, they had a onslaught of arsenal. So I do believe that they can be mentioned in those teams of dominance in that particular era. So, yes, I do consider them a dominant team.
There you go. Yeah, so they definitely, anytime you're talking about winning 4 championships inside of a decade, talking 4 championships in 8 years, got to be considered as one of the better teams. You got some great teams out there. And again, it's hard to compare eras. I get it. Certainly the Bulls and the Celtics, those are probably the 2 gold standards, the Celtics of the 60s and the Bulls of the 90s. Those teams ripping off. Celtics 11 championships in 13 years. The Bulls 6 championships in 8 years, including 3 back-to-back-to-back, including 2 back-to-back-to-back runs. So, yeah, they're up there. Where they are in the top 10, I don't know. Like you mentioned, you had the Lakers teams of the 80s with Magic. You had the Celtics teams of the 80s with Larry Bird. So there's some good contenders out there. But, yeah, I got to kind of squeeze them in the top 10. Don't know if I can put Steph right now in the top 5 tree. Maybe.
What?
No. You got real loud there. I mean, okay, now think about what you're saying. I know he's considered to be one of the greatest shooters of all time, but you jumping him over a lot of players when you told me to put him in the top 5.
Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
Steph has changed the game of basketball. And anytime that someone comes and they change the game, think about it. That's what Michael Jordan did. Michael Jordan changed the game. You cannot think of the NBA without thinking of Michael Jordan and Air Jordan with him dunking and just the way that he played. Steph has changed the game of basketball. He has changed it. And so when you can come and dominate and change it the way that you have, I'm not just going off of positions. That moves you up from just a guard to one of the top 5 greatest players in the history of the game. He is somebody who will be talked about for the rest of the NBA and the greatness. And so many younger players are mimicking their games after him. So with him changing the game of basketball, he's definitely in the top 5, in my opinion.
Well, like I said, that's a big jump. I mean, you have some very dominant players, and guys that run up some huge numbers. You talk about Kareem, you're talking about, of course, Michael Jordan, you're talking about Kobe, you're talking about even Shaq. There's a lot of guys. I mean, Tim Duncan. There was a lot of dudes that won a lot of championships and were very, very dominant. So do I put him in the top 10? Yeah. And even one of his contemporaries, LeBron James. I mean, so there's a lot of guys you got to skip over the top 5. Top 10, I think you especially if they can win one more championship and get to 5, yeah, you definitely have to put him there and then maybe consider him for a top 5. But right now, no, I can't make him no top 5 right now. Nope.
Let's say this as well. When it comes to talking about take away the championships period, I know that's what everybody wants to categorize whether or not you're a great player or not. But again, it takes a team to win championships. Let's not forget that. All right. But as far as individual players, I would even mention Charles Barkley. Okay, I thought Charles Barkley was a dominant player. If you want to say change the era of the game, the big man, the big powerful man going down, yeah, he changed the game as well. Look at the Draymond, those types of players. They're built to me kind of like Chuck, like Charles Barkley, but Charles never won championships, so that's his only hang up. But there's that dismiss that the fact that he's a great player. Yeah, I think in some eyes people are gonna say, he didn't win championships. But again, it takes championships, a team to win championships. But as far as a great player, I think you got to mention Charles Barkley as well. The rebound.
Oh yeah, Chuck was. I used to watch Charles Barkley play. Yeah, he definitely was a dominant player, but it's like you said, the fact that he doesn't have a championship is something that will definitely stick with him for the rest of his life, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it might stick with him, but the bottom line is the people that play the game, they made sure that Chuck was a top 50 player and then top 75 player. So clearly his peers know, what an impact player he was. And keep in mind, this was a guy that came in. We forget about this. This was the guy that came in and basically unseated the legend himself. When Chuck first got to Philadelphia, there was another guy there. Now, he was on the tail end of his career. There was another guy that was considered one of the all-time greats, some fellow named Dr. J. And basically, during that time period, the Sixers had to transition away from, the doctor to Charles Barkley. So you think how good he had to be. Again, Doc was at the end of his career, but still how good he had to be to kind of have the Sixers say, man, we got to shift the offense and run through here, Doc. That's the way it is because he's our new guy. So, yeah, one of the great all-time players. And that's why I say it's just so many guys that it's tough for me to jump Steph all the way up to number 5. You think about the guy who's on the logo. Think about Jerry West. I mean, there's a guy who had a nickname called Mr. Clutch. So, I mean, a lot of, I know you like your boy. I like him too. But,
no, but he changed the game. It's not just because I like him. You have to look at what he has done for the game of basketball. So you don't have to agree with me, but I stand firm that he is top 5. He literally has changed the game. And it may not really register right now because I know you're just looking at post players and this and that. But when somebody can come and do what he has done for the NBA, that's definitely top 5. And it's not something that he's changed the game. Like, honestly, I can't just look at the shooting. That is just phenomenal. He is definitely top 5. Definitely top 5.
I
think we have to agree to disagree on this one, but in my opinion, he's top 5. So yes, with what he has done, he has jumped over so many other players. And I'm not saying that they're not great players. We know that in this game, there's a ton of phenomenal players, phenomenal. But Steph has done what nobody else has done. And Ray Allen, we know, was a great shooter, right? We know about all these guys. Reggie Miller was a phenomenal shooter. None of them are like Steph. Steph has changed the game.
Go ahead, Tyron. I heard you revved up. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think what really has changed the game is the 3-point line. So I'm like, if you add the 3-point line back when these other guys who were able to shoot good jumpers from the outside, put them in the era of the 3-point line. Back then it didn't have no 3-point line. So,
right.
But it was still solid jump shooters. So I'm like, so it's a lot of factors. Everybody has their skills and everybody has their era and everything like that. That's why I think it's so hard to compare players. You can't because everybody has their own gift. And you just use the environment according to your gifts. And yes, Steph Curry, I'm pretty sure he works on shooting that long 3-point shot, so to speak. So it's hard to defend a guy like that. You got to defend a guy like that as soon as he comes towards the midpoint line.
Yeah.
Well, Tree, you got a fan with Mr. Football, Vincent Turner. Yep, Mr. Football saying he agrees with you. He said, hey, the guy, listen, this is one thing. Now, normally I never like to disagree with the queen, but on this one, I can't really. I mean, I like Steph. I really do like him. But there's a lot of factors involved. One of them, again, a 3-point shooting area, because to give you an example, recently I've watched a lot of films on the late, great Pete Maravich. And he was a guy that if they had 3-pointers in his era, he might have averaged like 40-something points a game. This guy was a scoring machine. So I'm just saying that, I get what you're saying.
Might have, because you don't know, right? And that's the thing. With the different eras, you have to just judge them in that era. You can't really say, oh, well, if they were playing in this game or this way, they would do this. You don't know, right? So we have to just judge them off of the era that they did play in. And we know that back in the day, the game was more guards, pass it into your big man, the big man go and you score. Most of the points were scored in the paint. Most of the points were 2 points, of course, because like you said, there was no 3-point line. But the game has evolved. And what I'm saying is you look at just Steph, just the way he plays, it's just him. He's like a superhero out on the court in real life. The things that he does, the way that he shoots the ball, how far he shoots the ball. Vincent Turner said that man could have 6 rings in 6 years. That man is top 5. I agree with you, Vincent Turner. Thank you for agreeing with me. He is honestly, like, when you watch him, it's just like, how did he do that? And he makes it look easy. Like, he just shoots the ball like it's nothing. So,
I tell you what, he won't get no 6 rings if they don't keep that team intact. All right. That's how, again, championships are won by teams. And if you don't believe me, go back to when Michael Jordan first came to the Bulls. All right. He's scoring 64 points or whatever in the playoffs, and they still lost. So unless they keep that Golden State Warrior team together, Draymond, he's getting a little older. Steph, and they got to keep the team together. Then he'll give himself an opportunity to win more championships.
Oh yeah, I think they'll keep the top 3 or 4 together, but we know the whole team. It's impossible for them all to stay together because now that they're all champions, they want the big pay, and so it's going to be hard keeping most of the guys together. But I still feel that they will come back and win more championships. That's just me. I think Clay next year is going to have an even better season. He's going to put in a lot of work in the off season, and I think next year when he comes back, we're going to see him playing more dominant. And he did very well this season, but I think next season he'll do better. I see them doing another championship, and I dare say I do see them repeating. I am saying that.
Some early people are saying as well. So we got our fantasy football GOAT strategy saying, imagine Muhammad Abdul Rauf. That was A.K. Chris Jackson. That guy was definitely a gunslinger back in the day, one of the great shooters in his era. And Mr. Turner, you've done found a friend there, Tree. He said the big if with Pete Maravich. He said Miss Tree has got a good point tonight. Bro, she is on point tonight. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Showing a lot of love to the queen, Mr. Turner. I appreciate you, though, bro. Who wouldn't? At the end of the day, last thing from Mr. Turner, he said, no doubt he has a great players around him, as Tyrone says. However, if the team stays put, that guy will win more rings. Yeah, I mean, listen, already the NBA, they're already a favorite for next year, no doubt about it. Anytime you have a great team assembled like this, if you can keep everybody together, that's going to be a big key. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to come in. We're waiting for our guest, Oren Checkmate Hudson. But before he comes on, the rumors are rumbling everywhere that John Collins may be gone. All right, guys, we'll be back on more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go nowhere.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
I like that commercial. Nice little beat to it. Anyway, yes, please, guys, if you are interested in the vehicle, you actually can give me a call. You can call me on the cell and put it back up here because I actually am a commercial account manager over at Allen Vigil Ford. So if you need a car for you, yourself, or your familia, or your business, hit me up right here. I'm going to put the number up on the screen. Here it is right here. You hit me up, 678-410-9833. You'll see it right there. Bam! Right there. 678-410-9833. We have new Fords, new Lincolns. We have used cars of any type, and we'd love to be of service to you. And yes, we do specialize in handling small business accounts. So please, man, please, sir, give us a call today. All right. Yeah. So it's all over everywhere, guys. A lot of rumbling that John Collins will no longer be a Hawk by the end of this week. Trades are swirling, possibly going to Sacramento, possibly involved the trade to Utah or to Phoenix. Tree, what do you think about the prospects of John leaving?
You know, I finally have to realize that it's inevitable. It's going to happen. You know, everybody who watches the show knows that I am not happy about this trade. I'm not happy about him leaving. But at this point, if I was John Collins, I wouldn't feel wanted with this organization when they're constantly talking about trading me. And so I would no longer want to be here. I know that he wanted to stay in Atlanta, but if a team is constantly wanting to trade me, deuces. I would say goodbye and go someplace that I'm wanted. And I think that wherever he goes, they'll definitely benefit with having him, and he will definitely be a great asset to their team and their organization. As far as the Atlanta Hawks, I'm wondering who it is they're going to bring in. I did hear that they're possibly looking at getting a draft pick and looking at getting somebody in a draft. But I do realize that at this point, some changes do have to be made with the Atlanta Hawks. And the only way you can make those changes is to get rid of some of the players. I also heard they're possibly thinking about getting rid of Bogey so that they can get some money back. And so we'll see what happens. But yes, definitely some changes need to happen. You can't just keep being on the fence or being close. The Hawks organization, they want to contend for a championship. And so I do realize that changes need to be made. Unfortunately, with my favorite player on the team, but I wish him all the best.
Tyrone, what do you think about this idea of trading John Collins, a guy that is, been at times a double-digit guy, both in rebounding and in scoring, that he might be gone?
Well, we just talked about the Golden State Warriors, right? We just talked about the big three, so to speak, that they kept as the foundational pieces for their organization. Of course, Steph Curry was the one that they drafted first in 2009, and then came Draymond, and then you have Clay. So when you think about John Collins here in Atlanta, they got Trae Young, and you would say Clint Capella probably was the second guy, and you would think John Collins would have been the foundational pieces of that third foundation that you need to win a championship. But when you talk about Collins individually amongst the power forwards, Giannis, of course, everybody gonna probably say he's number one. Kevin Durant, then Anthony Davis, Zion Williamson, Jason Tatum up in Boston, Draymond Green, and I put John Collins in that group of guys. But then when I take a look at it, I say, okay, the salary cap. Okay, we look at the Hawks. They are struggling, so to speak, with the salary cap. I think what is the salary cap going to be for the NBA this year? 21 million, so to speak. And of course, they have a luxury tax, they call it. But when you think about John Collins, I think he is that piece that when you talk about the foundation of building a championship, I'm like, why are you letting this guy go? He is a piece that can help. So I looked at him and Jason Tatum, and how important Jason Tatum is to the Celtics run, and how important I believe John Collins. And when you look at their stats, they are pretty much equal to a point when it comes to the game. And I think maybe this is where sometimes as a player, the team does say, okay, maybe we need to move on from this guy. Okay, when you look at the number of games total, Jason Tatum and John Collins both came into the league at the same time, right? So far, Jason Tatum has played 365 games to John Collins 293 games. Okay, so when you're paying a guy, he's sitting and not really giving you a lot of time. As an organization, you got to say, hey, maybe we need to move on. Let's try to dish this guy, deal this guy while he is able. Again, this is just me looking at the parameters, okay? Again, Jason Tatum, I think that's a great comparison because they both are in their fifth year in the league and they both play the same position. So it's just like myself playing corner. I'm like, are they going to continue to pay me, continue to have me around? Which I don't think no team would do that if you're not on the court. So again, doesn't take anything away from John Collins. I think wherever he goes, he's going to be a benefit. But, again, it's what have you done for me lately? So that's just the nature of the beast, man.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I think with him being injured, you have to take that into account with games being played. Because,
Exactly.
Huh?
That's my point. Injury. Injured.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm saying the way he was getting injured, some things, especially with basketball, you just can't change that.
All I can say is, Tree, I played a sport. I played a more aggressive sport. And
that is a fact.
Right.
You played the most aggressive sport.
Exactly. I'm making a point here, okay? There are things that players can do themselves. Now, I don't know what Jason Tatum does to keep himself healthy, and maybe he's doing a little bit more extra than John Collins does. Okay, I do know that there are a lot of guys that play corner like I play, and them jokers beat up all the time. But there are other guys, they have a long tenure. So again, when somebody's paying you a lot of money, even in corporate America, if they are paying you a lot of money, they're not paying you money just to be there. They're paying you money to solve problems, to solve issues. So I don't know.
You money to win championships.
Yeah, nothing against nothing against them at all. But I'm just saying, from an organization standpoint, I believe these are some of the factors that they look at.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, if you look at the whole thing with John Collins versus the guy you just mentioned, Jason Tatum, I think that's kind of the problem. Jason Tatum, in the last couple of years, has elevated his game, so he's now considered one of the better players of the position. He's been to the All-Star game twice. And John, we were expecting him to take that next step, but he kind of regressed a little bit. And now, me personally, I think some of that, and you have a lot of people on Hawks Twitter think the same thing, that the problem has been, even though he was Johnny on the spot, the right guy for when they were trying to make that, that big run that he did a couple of years ago, Nate McMillan has really seemed like he might have taken a step back, even his coaching, because to me, he's not utilizing the guys that he has to the best of their ability. And I'll just have you say, Tree, I ain't the only one that has said the same thing about Nate not playing rookies and younger players. Even 92.9 The Game, who is the flagship station, they're asking the same question. Hey, what happened to Jalen Johnson? Hey, what happened to Sharif Cooper? At least play the guys and see what you got.
I'm just playing.
So I'm just saying that there's a disconnect here to me at the coaching position. That's me personally talking. And I would not be surprised that if the Hawks, no matter what they do with this trade, if they keep everybody, but if these guys don't come out of the chute and they don't play well, Nate may be gone. Because think about this. Out of nowhere, the golden boy Travis Schlenk all of a sudden gets bumped to director of basketball, not bumped to, but is relieved technically of his duties as general manager. If you remember, it's the same story what happened with Bud. Bud was the golden boy. The Hawks took a step back. Next thing you know, he's not the GM. He's overplay operation. Next thing you know, he got gone. So clearly, Tony Wrestler, a very nice man, met him several times. Really cool guy, got that LA cool. He ain't playing. So if the Hawks can't right the ship and get back, this whole regime might be turned over topsy-turvy. Okay, let's go take social media here. I knew he was lurking in the shadows. My man, Mr. Todd, he's there. He said, let's get real on Real Talk Sports. Hawks coach ain't been the same since he got the big contract preacher. He ain't hungry. Lord have mercy.
He said he ain't hungry.
Well, all I know is this, is that a couple of bad signs. You got to keep. I know you can't have unrest in the locker room, but you got a guy that was the second part of the trade. And I always go back to this. Luka and Trey both are great players, but what made that trade a great trade for Atlanta is you also got Cam Reddish, who seemed to be developing to a very good player. All of a sudden,
very good.
Cam gone. Okay, he's gone. So now you lose that player and get, to me, something very minimal in return. And so I'm asking myself, what's the problem? The whole thing with John Collins and Trey. John can't call plays for himself. Those pick and rolls, that's what was making him and Trey the dynamic duo. I said early on that, hey, these guys have the potential to be the next John Stockton and Karl Malone. You bring another guy in terms of the center, and all of a sudden you take away those touches from John. Tell him, oh, by the way, we need you to play out on the wing more. If you remember, this is kind of thing they did with Al Horford and kind of jacked his career up. You took a guy that was really doing fairly well. I know he had some injuries around the paint. You move him out in the perimeter. You want him to take on all these new duties, and you don't give him the ball. He's not a guy who can develop his own shot. He was never that guy. So to me, I blame the coaching. Nate's the problem. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. I've had an opportunity to be around, a championship environment. We had it in Carolina. We had it in Indianapolis, and of course, we had it in New England. And I think there are three things that has to be in play. Okay, I've seen a team that has a lot of talent, but they still don't win. A la the Raiders back in the day, they were stacked with like talent, but why could they not win? Okay, because I think it's these three things, and these are the three things that I think even the Hawks got to understand. Okay, successful teams. Number one, successful teams have leaders who are open about what is expected of each player. Every player has to know their role. My question is, do the Hawks, do they understand that? Do each player understand what their role is? Or is each player trying to get something for themselves? Okay. Yeah, you'll probably go into the playoffs, but I bet you won't win a championship. All right. Just like Scottie Pippen said, everybody knew their role. Last seconds of the game, get the ball to Michael. Everybody get out the way. All right. I think the second thing is every team member has a role on great teams. Every player has a role. But here's the thing that I think is the most significant. Teams should have standards, not rules. Now, I don't know if you guys heard what I said right there. Winning teams that win championships, they have a standard, not rules. A lot
break that down for us for a second, because that's a nugget right there. Break that down. Okay, so rules, we know rules and regulations versus standard. Kind of just flesh it out just a little bit before we go into the break. Go ahead.
All right, let's take football for example. Okay, and we same thing in basketball. Just think with me here. Okay, football. It's not just good enough. It's a rule as a defensive back. You catch the ball, you get an interception. But it's a standard that when we get that interception, we're taking it to the house. That's the standard. That's the rule, and then that's the standard. The rule says you're a defensive back, they throw the ball, you knock it down, or you catch it. Interception. As a defense, our standard is when we get an interception, we're taking it to the house. Or if we rush the quarterback, we're not just trying to tackle the quarterback, sack. We're trying to knock the ball out, scoop and run. We're trying to score on defense. That's our standard. So what are the standards for the Hawks? What are the standards? Do they have standards? We don't just go in here just to play. We don't go in here just to play defense, get defensive rebound, just like the Detroit Pistons. Back in the day, Tree's team, the Bill Lambiers and, all them guys, they had a standard. When you play us, this is our standard. Or when we go out there and play, this is our standard. So my question is, do the Hawks have standards? And does each player know what their role is and carry out their role and don't complain? Because we know who is supposed to do what in certain positions. Just like we talked about Golden State. They got certain players, man. They know their role. Klay Thompson may say, hey, I'm just going to hide out by the 3-point. They're going to push the lane, drive, and dish it out to me, then boom. That's me. So, again, standards and rules, man. I think that what keeps a lot of teams from winning. That's just me.
So it sounds, if I'm understanding correctly, it's kind of like you're building two things. You're building a not only a culture, but a style of play. This is the way we do our business. Like if you playing us, this is what we're going to get. Okay? No doubt. When you come, just like the Pittsburgh Steelers for years, really for most of their years since the Steel Curtain, you knew if you were playing Pittsburgh, you were getting hard-nosed defense, and they were going to try to run the ball down your throat. Now, of course, when they had Roethlisberger, they made some changes. They occasionally get you that deep strike, but basically they were trying to pound you into oblivion. That's what you knew. Identity. What is the Hawks' identity? Does anybody know the Hawks' identity? I bet if we said the Golden State Warriors, what is their identity? People are already going to tell, oh, I know their identity.
Oh, yeah.
What are the Hawks' identity?
Stephanie Clay said the other night, they said, baby, all we do is shoot threes and win championships. That's our motto. There you go.
That's the standard. That is the standard that they have put there and set there.
Yeah, man, that's been the problem. I mean, that's been the problem for years with this team, the inability, really to kind of have a way of playing. Now, I will say that in the year that they went and won 60 games under Coach Bud, what you knew about the Hawks were they were almost kind of like the Three Musketeers. All for one for all. You knew at the Hawks, you getting they have the whole fist concept down pat. Because if you remember, they actually have 4 of their 5 starters picked to go to the All-Star game. And all those guys knew what they were going to do. You knew that Kyle Korver, he was going to run you through about 1,000 picks and get that 3, or he was going to come down and do that spot up 3. And that's what he's going to do. He played a little defense with you every now and then, but his main thing was he was a spot up 3-pointer. You knew that. You knew that Al Horford, he was going to get that ball inside of 15 feet, and either going to hit you with that turnaround jumper or he's going to get you that quick fake and spin to the lane. You knew that. And you knew that the Hawks on defense, they weren't a great defensive team that's trying to have a stud, but you knew that when you played the Hawks, you had to be alert at all times because they were a very handsy team. They constantly were in motion, constantly had hands in the ball, in your face, and it took them to win 60 games. And even though they really didn't have a real superstar, I mean, Al Horford was great, Jeff Teague was pretty good, but I mean, in essence, that's what made that team. They had that hustle, and every loose ball, that was the other thing too. The Hawks were scrappy. They were a scrappy team, but then it all went to the left. I
was about to say, and then how far did they go?
No, but okay. Now, see, I feel I'm being mocked now. I don't even have my shades. I'm kind of in the middle.
No, I'm not mocking you. I'm just saying, how far did they go?
They got to the Eastern Conference Final with a banged up team. What could they do? I mean, they had to keep.
No, I get what you're saying. I think that went over your head. I'm saying all of those things are great, right?
Right.
But the teams that are remembered are the teams that win the championship, right? Most people don't remember who finished second place and all of that.
I agree.
But yes, all of that is great, but they still need to get over that hump. Look at our team now. So I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying, like, our team now, they get right there, but they have to get over that hump. That's what the Hawks organization is looking to do, because they actually want to win a championship and not just be close and right there. So I figure some changes were going to come, because when you lose, you have to make changes.
But here's the thing, though. I think we all saying the same thing. They got to set a standard. They got to set a standard. It's just like you bringing in a different coach every year, every 3-4 years. You're not giving an opportunity for an identity to be set. You're not giving an opportunity for standards.
I'm sorry.
So
I read Todd's comment.
Just like Jonathan said, they were hustling and scrappy. Okay, that's our standard. That's our standard here. That's our identity. You're gonna play hard, you're gonna hustle. Then all of a sudden it vanishes. Now you got to start back over again. Find it who you are. You don't win championships like that. So it's gonna whereas that scrappy hustle team probably within 2 or 3 years could have won a championship because that's our identity. Now they got to go back and start back over again.
Yeah.
For me, they've lost time.
Yeah. I agree with you, Tyrone. And what do you think, Jonathan? I don't think that we can keep firing coaches and hiring coaches. You need to find a coach and stick with him and give him an opportunity to build. But I know you said that you blame Coach Nate. You don't think they should give him more time to actually get his foundation going?
Well, I mean, the problem I have with Coach Nate is that he seems to be inflexible in terms of work. The very thing that I thought he was going to continue to do, it's like he stopped. If you remember, one of the things that the Hawks did in that run is they basically had a team that was almost 10 deep. They had like a whole second team that came out, and everybody seemed to really kind of get time. See, this year it looked like he reverted, and I started hearing stuff like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna short my bench." So when I started hearing stuff like that, I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute, buddy." I said, "That's not what you guys did before." And you have a team where you have a lot. It's not just, again, it's around the league. People are saying these guys have some good teams. They have good players. You have to. I'm not trying to say you got to play the guys all the time. But it's like, hey, man, you got to play some of these younger guys to see what you got. And again, I go back to a guy like Jalen Johnson. I go back to the guy with the French name. They just call him TLC. I mean, also these guys got ghost. And these were guys that seem to be contributing earlier in the year. So, I mean, they're going to have to find somebody to meet him. But I can tell you something, Tony Wrestling ain't having it because, again, Travis Schlink, all of a sudden he's the golden boy. And all of a sudden he's not the general manager. And the guy they put in here, I never heard the guy. I mean, Landry Field, guy's 33 years old. Former NBA player. I'm like, where does this guy come from? I know he's an assistant general manager. I'm not trying to disparage him just on youth, but I'm like, okay, well, you're a team that's struggling. You're a team that's grappling. So what are we trying to do here? Yeah, that's why I'm confused. I mean, you got a lot of pushback on the coach, and then you also have a situation where you've gone backwards. And so anyway, it's going to be a tough struggle to try to see what this team can do. You're basically talking about almost undoing everything you've done in the last 2 years. So I just hope that Mr. Wrestler is not taking a page out of Arthur Blank's book and trying to just, kind of just put the wrecking ball to this team. I mean, I know he's got to spend a lot of money. It's not my money, but you had a team that 2 years ago went to Eastern Conference Finals. And had your star player not been injured, who knows, you might have got to the finals. The next year, your star player, and I like Trey, come on and said, hey, you know what? The regular season kind of boring. Okay? You got players that are performing extremely well. And I go back to, I know the G League is not the NBA, but you look at a guy like Jordan Poole. Somehow, the Warriors found a way to play the guy, and he had a huge role. So I'm just saying there's something going on in this organization. I can't quite put my finger on it, but if they don't get it fixed, they're gonna do what Tyrone said. They're gonna blow the whole thing up and start all over again.
Yeah, saying. But I do want to say with the Jordan Poole situation, because I think a lot of people don't realize Jordan Poole before this season, he wasn't the same Jordan Poole last season that he was this season. So he went and he worked hard. He took a hard look at himself, which is what a lot of players need to do. But unfortunately, you don't have a lot of those championship players. They don't do this. And I'm sure Tyrone can agree with me if he feels the same. But the great players, the phenomenal players, the players who want to be the best, they don't just want to be good enough to get in the game. They don't want to just be good enough to get some playing time and contribute. They want to be the best. They want to work hard and start. They want to win championships. They want to break records. Jordan Poole realized that he wasn't on that trajectory. And so he took it upon himself to train and work hard, and his game improved. And if you look at it, he really didn't get to make the big difference until Steph got hurt. When Steph got hurt, that allowed him to get more minutes, and he shined when he used those minutes the same way that the player that we always talk about who left the Hawks, Cam Reddish, he got a lot of playing time when players were injured here, and he took that advantage, and he was ready. Remember, I always say Cam Reddish is my favorite player to use for stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So that was Jordan Poole. And so that's when everybody started looking up to him. So it wasn't just like he was already that player. He worked hard to get there and then took advantage of the opportunity when it presented itself. And so what I don't see with a lot of the Hawks players, and this is just me, I could be wrong because I'm not with these people. I don't know these people, but it doesn't seem like a lot of the Hawks players are really doing what they need to do to try to be the best, or try to get that championship and break records. It seems like they're okay with, okay, we made it to the playoffs. Some players are okay with that. I've never been that player. I always want to be the best. I want the championship. And that's the difference between what I'm seeing in some of these guys that I see on the Hawks, like you said, where players are saying, oh, well, we need to play harder. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. But Tyrone, what do you think about that?
No, I'd be very quick. I think you spot on. I think the best teams, the best players, they have leaders who help each person grow. Not only themselves, but they set the standard. Again, remember I said standards. So if you are a shooting guard, or if you play the 4 position, whatever, this is the standard. So if you underachieve, then you're going to go out and you're going to make yourself better. You know, I got a saying that I learned from a quote that I kind of like put my name in it. And anybody who's watching and listening, I would tell you to do the same thing if you want to be the best, just like Tree was saying. I always tell people the only person that can stop me is the person that I look at every day in the mirror. Okay. So really, my only competitor is the person who I was yesterday, the person who I was last game. Okay. So Tyrone versus Tyrone. And I think if you take that approach as a player, then it becomes infectious. And the team starts to, hey, wow, you know, this person out there coming into the arena 5 a.m. in the morning. You know, practice is not until 8. They're here at 5, you know, working on their game. I think I better get here at 4:30. So if you don't have that type of standard, then hey, what time is the meeting? Oh, 8 o'clock. Oh, I get there at 7:45. So it's a standard, man. That's why teams that win championships, that's why they win. You go sit in their locker room, their meeting room. You're going to hear a totally different verbiage and the way they express themselves from a team that doesn't win championships.
Facts.
Yep.
And what do you think, Jonathan?
Well, I mean, to me, I mentioned again, it just, to me, goes back to some area of coaching, because coaches are able to get the best out of their players. They're able to push their players. They're able to make players to see what Tyrone is talking about. So, again, no disrespect to Coach Nate, took him to the Eastern Conference Finals, but there's something going on with this Hawks team. It's really, if we go back, like I said, again, for years, you talk to the older players, there's just something about the way the Hawks go about their business that it just doesn't have that toughness, the mental toughness to kind of go to the next step. And even physically on the court, the Hawks have a tendency to get bullied. So I don't know. There's a quick comment there as we're about to go to break. Fantasy Football Goal Strategy said the Hawks are missing an alpha male. The alpha male mentality, it takes a beast a long way, or you take a beast or take a team a long way. And of course, Todd always like to take some shots at me. He says, hey, the show needs to be called the Real Talk Hawks Sports Show. 1 hour in, we're talking about Hal Horford, LOL. Hey, I appreciate you, Todd. But at the end of the day, we had talked about other things as well. We are going to talk a little football in just a moment. We're waiting for our guest. He was in the green room. Before you bring him on, we'll take a quick break. You're watching the Real Talk Sports Show. Don't go nowhere. Even you, Todd. We'll be right back in just a moment. Stay tuned. Don't go away. My man.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports. What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports. Ha ha.
We were doing the same thing, Jonathan. I was doing the same thing.
Right, I had to bob and weave. I was getting into the music. We're back. Listen to the Real Talk Sports Show. Up in the left-hand corner, right-hand corner, depending on how you watch it. He is the champion, two-time Super Bowl champion, Mr. Tyrone Poole, and remember the Fort Valley State Sports Hall of Fame, and also now doing some great things with his alma mater as well. And, of course, right next to us, up top there, the queen herself, Tree Dolman, and yours truly, Mr. Jonathan Simmons. Well, our guest, there was something wrong with the link. I'm not sure what happened, but bottom line, we sent the link again. I'm going to bring him on here. This young man has been doing phenomenal stuff, I would say, for the past 15 years, bringing the sensibility of how chess can change the minds and the trajectory of young people around Metro Atlanta. And that's why they call him Checkmate. Orrin Hudson is in the building, sir. Welcome back to our show. What's going on, man?
Maybe on mute.
All right, bro. You got to unmute yourself. We can see you, but we can't hear you. All right, you got your name set. Just click that little microphone and make sure the line is not slashed through it. All right, let me try to hit it. Okay, you there? Yeah, we still can't hear you, bro. Let me try to do it here on my end. And we're unmuting you. It's like the Beatles song, hear you knocking, but you can't come in. I mean, we see you talking, but we don't hear anything. Sure your mic's plugged in? Yep, I see you off mute, but we still don't hear you. All right. Okay, brother, we're going to have to, what we're going to do is we're going to take you off for a second. Yep, there we go. He's going. All right. Anyway, well, we're going to have to kind of keep it moving. Let's talk a little football here. I wasn't going to talk the Falcons, but obviously the big thing that's kind of hanging out in the room is our man, Mr. Watson. He's now evidently settled on 20 of the 24 cases. I'm going to ask both of you, do you think it's going to have any impact on the NFL's number of games they're going to suspend them? Tree, you first. 20 out of 24 settled. Do you think that's going to help, hurt, or make no difference?
I think it makes no difference. As I've already stated, that they did not find any criminal charges against him. Now, what they're looking for is just to see if anything has gone against the NFL rules and regulations. And so I think with him settling with 20 of the 24 allegations, I don't see it making a difference in what they are going to do.
Mr. Tyrone Poole, your thoughts? Do you think it's going to make a difference in his term at all now that he's settled 2024 and probably going to settle all 24 at some point in time?
No, really, may not make a difference. But again, that's why he has his lawyers and the defendants. They have because he has his lawyer, and the other 24 women they have their lawyers. So that's what the court system is for. And the NFL is just sitting back and seeing how it's going to unfold. But I'm pretty sure they are going to tax him a little bit as far as games. And but at the end of the day, he'll bounce back, and he'll come in, and hopefully, my thing is he's learned a little bit, and I hope that all professional athletes or any type of high profile person learns from this situation. It's just unfortunate, but there are people out there, men and women, who are, it's all about money, man. Like Dion said, must be the money. So I'm like, you just got to be careful, man. Just got to be careful. And but
That's true.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but just hope everything works out for everybody involved.
Yeah, hopefully it gets straightened out, man. It's kind of real. It's just a real crazy situation. Todd says, hey, the grand jury actually chose not to charge him, did not say he was not guilty. Well, I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day.
Okay.
Right.
Well, he didn't have any charges. That is true. That is true. Technical error. Thank you, Todd. That is true. They didn't say he wasn't guilty, but they chose not to prosecute him.
Right. And H.E. Hardy says, but it ain't matters like this reviewed during the NFL rookie symposium. Yeah, I mean, Tyrone, you've been through it. I mean, they I'm sure they do a good job still of kind of instructing you on what you can, or I shouldn't say can, what you should and should not do. But I mean, that was my thing from the opening bell. It was just like bizarre. It's just the sheer number is what threw me off. I mean, if you had like one or two, but like you start getting numbers like 20 plus, I'm like, dude. I mean, I go back to the same thing. How many people you want to put your hands on you? I don't get it.
Sure.
I think it was a service. I think it was a service, man. It's just, call a service. And I think that's how the numbers get up there. You think about it, I think it's a service. So, like I said, again, hopefully, he learns from it and, and just be an advocate to help educate other athletes, and not just athletes, but just people in the world. You made me think of something. I think, who was it? Todd asked about the rookie symposium.
Yeah.
Well, they give you a car. All those people who own cars that go above 160, the law tells you that if you're going 70 and you go 10, 15 miles over, you're going to get pulled over, right? How many people still go over? Even though you know that, you still get a ticket. So again, I think it's just a principle of life. We just got to understand that there are rules out there and no one is over the rules. And if you get caught, they're going to make you pay.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like you said, I hope he learns from this, because his team was telling him that this did not look good and he should not do it. But we all know how a lot of headstrong men are, who have a lot of money, and they think, you can't tell me anything. You can't tell me what to do with my money, and you can't tell me what to do. So unfortunately, he did not take that sound advice. And now every day since this has happened, I am sure that he is replaying in his head, like, man, I wish I would have listened to wisdom. So people, just listen to wisdom and learn from other people's mistakes. That's the best thing we can do, even though we're all going to make our own mistakes. None of us are perfect, right? And but it's just always good to, when people are constantly telling us something, it's like, let me rethink this and see if a lot of people are sending it. That's typically God sending confirmation of trying to correct different things when he sends it with multiple people. So hopefully many people will learn from this, like Tyrone has said, and also Deshaun Watson. But I really just hope that he can move forward and all of the ladies can move forward as well.
Can I say this real quick? I
ahead.
talked to a guy today. He was talking about the prodigal son, the prodigal son. And what I'm going to allude this to, tied into, is that we're quick to focus on the one that has the spotlight put on them. All right. But believe me, there's a whole lot of people out there who are flying under the radar. Okay. So when you talk about the prodigal son, he says the church, because it's a Bible, a story. Everybody focuses on the prodigal son, and he lost this, and he was out there with harlots, and spending his money foolishly. Those are the sins that you can see in the flesh, right? You can see in the flesh, you can see those. But nobody talks about the son who was at home. Okay, no, he wasn't out there with harlots and all that, but he was sinning as well. Well, how you say that, Tyrone? Well, wasn't he bitter? Wasn't he envious? And all, so those are sins of the spirit. So we're quick to see the flesh things, but there are a lot of people out there doing other things too that really, if the spotlight was put on you, put your rocks down. But again, hopefully this is a situation. Overall, we look at the principles of things, and hopefully Deshaun could be an advocate, man, and just like, hey guys, this thing, it keeps happening, man. I'm telling you, no one is above the law. All right. So that's why, again, I just have a new perspective for the prodigal son story. You got one that's caught with the flesh. Everybody focuses on that. But the other one, that person, the brother, was sinning from a spiritual standpoint. So, but either way, hopefully you got the point I was trying to make. But we all
listen. I got it. Now Todd is saying, hey, would you want the guy to represent your franchise? Okay, let me just say this from being the old guy in the room. Right. The realities is that I remember seeing a woman who was much younger than me at the time. And I remember time to time that things would come up with, pastors getting in some kind of miscue, or, there would be some kind of scandal. And I would always say to her, man, there for the grace of God go I. And she would get all skinny. What's wrong with you? I say, here's the situation. It's not that men can't control themselves. It's not that you're not filled with the Holy Ghost. I'm not saying any of that stuff. What I'm telling you is that's why the Bible wrote that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And I'm just telling you, I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of baptism you got on yourself, buddy boy. If you don't take steps to keep yourself out of the way of temptation, I don't care how old you be. I don't care if you ain't got no money. Trouble will be at your doorstep. I'm just telling you what the old preacher has witnessed in his own self. That there are many times the Holy Ghost had to grab me like a fish on a hook. Said, oh no, Johnny, and reel me in when I was committed to go downstream the wrong way. Yeah, and I ain't talking about 1999 neither. So I'm just saying I understand it. It is disappointing because you say, hey, with all this training, with all the money these guys get, but I don't want to make it seem like I'm just bashing these guys. I'm just saying, hey, as someone's in the news, these are the question marks because you're trying to figure out, okay, were there stop signs in place? Were there warning? That's all. And it's a learning lesson for all of us. Yeah, nobody here is taking shots. That's it.
Yeah.
And I do
want to say this.
Yeah.
Now, we all are tempted, right? But God always gives us a way out. And I think a lot of people miss that. But there is always a way out. It's just whether we choose to listen to the Holy Spirit and take that way out, or if we choose to just continue to do what it is that our flesh is wanting us to do. But as far as Todd's question, if I was an owner of a franchise, would I want Deshaun Watson to be the face of my organization? I would say yes. So I know that he's going through all of this, but I've always thought that his character was phenomenal, and just his heart of how he gives back and different things of that nature. I think that everybody deserves grace because none of us are perfect. We all do wrong and ask God to forgive us. And so how can we ask God to forgive us if we are not willing to forgive other people? And so my answer would be yes. I would want him to be the face of my organization if I was an owner.
Hey, listen, that's really it. And we're going to transition because our guest has been waiting patiently in the green room. We're going to try to see if we can bring him back on. But yeah, no doubt about it. Just to put a capstone on this is that this is the thing that
I
is
want
so good.
I got a good response to that.
Good, real quick.
But again, I'll say this to Todd. Why do you think Henry Ford, people always, when it comes to talking about failure, you can make it, you can get back up. Why is Henry Ford the face of everybody's conversation when they talk about you can get back up, you can get back up? So to say that about Henry Ford is to say the same thing about Deshaun Watson. He could be the face of someone that can help somebody else say, hey, you know what? I failed, I faltered, but I got back up, and yes, I made it. So yes, I would have him to be the face of my organization, because I'd rather take a knight that has been in battle, that got dents, and knows what it's like to fight that fire-breathing dragon, than to get somebody who is crystal clean and don't know what it's like to be in battle. That's why I'm always glad that Christ did what he did, because it shows that, you know what, you can go through it and you still can overcome. So yes, Deshaun Watson would be my face, just like adding on to what Tree said. So hopefully that answered Todd's question.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We got some Real Talk Sports in the night. But we do have, speaking of that, we also have our guests. We're going to try to see if we can pop them back in. Orange Checkmate Hudson. Let's see if the technology is working. Sir, are you there? We see you, sir. Start talking. I see. Well, unfortunately, I don't have a sign language translator yet, so hopefully we can work on that sometime in the future, brother. We still can't hear you. You sure you got your mic plugged in the right spot? If you activate the mic, because it's going to ask you what mic do you want to use. So you have to go in there and click in and tell it to make sure it recognizes your mic. And you go in where it says audio. And if you don't see any bars, that means it's not recognizing your mic. I heard something. I heard a boop. Is that you?
You tell him he can go to settings, and actually he can go and test and make sure his mic and the speakers are working. So yeah. So
Oren, can you go into settings, open up settings, and you'll see if it recognizes your mic, you'll see the bars moving to let you know the mic is on. I hear music. Who's that?
Can y'all hear me?
I hear you now. There you go. Hey,
thank God for you. Tyrone Poole, I love what you said earlier about that you always competing against yourself. I'll say it another way for you that you may like. If there's no enemy within, the enemy on the outside can do me no harm. Why? The greatest one is in you than he who's in the world. So constantly work on yourself and you will be a champion, because the only someone can stop you is you. I'm living my dream, because that's my message to young people, that your mind is a pearl. You can change the world. No one's better than you, and you know better than anyone else. Treat everyone you meet like the most important person in the world, and you'll never make a mistake again in your life. I was a state trooper for 7 years. They had the blue light, the badge, the bulletproof vest, but everyone I stopped, I treat them like it's me. Why? What you sincerely desire for others will happen for you.
I like that, man. You're doing some great stuff in the community. So tell people a little bit about, what you do, kind of using chess to impact, young people.
I use the game of chess to teach young people critical thinking, problem solving, and how to think things through. Why? Because the first thing that pops in your head is usually a trap. So I teach them 6 magic words. Take time to think things through, because you could make one move in life and never recover. It's just true. It's just honest. It's just the best move I can make. Make your next move your best move. Get your head up. Get your pants up. Get your grades up. And the big one, never give up.
I like it, man. And this is not your first rodeo. You've been doing this for many years, working behind the scenes. I'm going to go to my panelists here to see if they might even have any questions for you, or just to kind of figure out what you do, and maybe how we can serve with you as well. So, Tree, any questions for Orange Checkmate Hudson?
Yeah. So how long have you been playing chess, and what was it that got you involved in chess in the first place?
Well, I was a gang member in my teens, and a teacher pulled me to the side and said, listen, you following the follower. I said, what do you mean? He said, you doing whatever they say do. And I said, you're right. He said, I'm going to teach you how to think independently. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm going to teach you chess. I said, I'm a checker guru. He said, checkers, you using half of the board. He said, checkers, there's no females on the board. He said, chess, the female is the most powerful piece on the board. And I said, let's get on with the classes. So a teacher pulled me from being a gang member, to teaching me how to think for myself. And next thing you know, I was voted most likely to succeed. I went in the Air Force and became an Alabama State Trooper, and now I have a youth development program teaching young people how to navigate through the complexities of life. I show them where the landmines are.
Tyrone, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, Mr. Hudson, I've heard that chess helps build and develop problem-solving skills. Can help you focus. Can help you just basically with creativity. But I also have heard people say it can teach you how to win and lose. Have you ever heard that before? And if
chess teaches you how to embrace failure. Why? Because if you play chess, you will lose. And because it's millions of options, and you may miss something. You'll have blind spot. I call it possibility blindness. Sometimes you can have a winning move in one move, but you don't see it. Why? Because the winning move looked like a bizarre, crazy move. A buddy of mine, his name is Magnus Carlsen. He's now the world champion. He and I were hanging out in New York, and he was playing for the world championship. And to win the $2 million for the championship, he gave his queen away for free. And nobody in the audience saw that. And nobody would have done that because it's a crazy move. But it was a bizarre move. It was crazy. You give it away. You didn't get anything for it. And you win the game. That's how he got the $2 million. And that's how life is. Life is about recognizing patterns and realize that what looks like a bad move is a brilliant move.
So would you recommend chess for someone who has attention deficit?
Yes.
Attention.
Yes. Eddie, yeah, because I say that because I'm a product of the product. And it really slows you down and navigate and really help. It builds dendrites. Dendrites is when you learn this pattern, it builds dendrites, and you get the mind stretched by a new dendrite will never go back to its original form. And so chess builds dendrites because everything is about patterns. Pattern recognition is the key to success in all fields. Once you know the pattern, you can plan, you can prepare, you can position, you can predict. You already know what's coming. And so you look left, you throw right. If you look to the left, you freeze the safety. You look to the right, you make him go to the right. So you manipulate the defense. Chess teaches you how to manipulate the defense. I'm going to manipulate the heck out of you. When I'm playing you chess, I'm going to win. Why? I'm going to trick you. That's the only way I win. If I do what you are prepared for, you will stop it. So if I'm coaching the Falcons, we'll win a lot of games. Why? I'm going to trick the heck out of you. I'm going to do something so bizarre. You'll be like, he's not going to do that? Yes, I am going to do that. Why? Because you said I won't do it, and I'm going to throw you off. I have to manipulate you. I have to do what you don't expect. We going to get a ball to Doug Williams. We going to let him run it in. Why? He got bad knees. And they said, he's not going to run the ball. Yes, I am. He's going to walk in the end zone. You have to trick people.
I tell you what, you got to do a lot of tricking this year to get the Falcons to win 10 games.
Well, I can do it, brother. That's what I do. I'm a pattern recognition guru.
Hey, I got my last question for you. Chess improves memory. So from a personal standpoint, what is the largest set of numbers that you have ever remembered, or do you think you can remember?
Well, I put that test the other day. I really hadn't focused that way, but memory is important. But I was passing a number on the highway, and I said, I got to remember this number, and I remembered it. But I don't really do that as a general. So that was 10 digits. But I just don't really do it that way. But patterns is what I remember. And, and I also know how to solve problems. And I'm very good with learning every day and trying to get 1% better every day.
Awesome.
I'm doing a free class for seniors and children ages 4 to 104, Monday through Friday from 11 to 12. You can join for free from 11 a.m. to 12 every day on Zoom. And I'll take 40 years off of your learning curve. I'll show you how to navigate through the complexities of life and how to wake up winning.
Oh,
That's
you said this class is for seniors, eh?
Now, ages 4 to 104.
Oh, but
4 to
I'll fall in
104.
that category,
But I
baby.
say that, but I'm just trying to include people because I'll teach you something, Tyrone and Miss Tree, that you'll go back and you'll make money off of. You, oh my God, I'm gonna make money. Here's what I teach. The opposite of poor, the opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is mismanagement of resources. Poor is just a reflection of how you manage your resources. I show people how to do more with less. I'm gonna show you how to wake up winning. I'm gonna show you. I can show you some stuff that you'll be like, "Oh my God, yeah!" I'm gonna show you how to win.
Well, I appreciate all that you do. I do want to say two things. One, I wake up winning every morning because every day above ground is a blessing, and that's a win. And secondly, I love chess. Believe it or not, my father taught me how to play, I want to say in about 2010. And I love the game. And it was a game that I was always intimidated to play when I was younger, just because, when people are just going through the quickness of how to play the game. But it is such a wonderful game. And I'm very intellectual like that. So I love games like that. So I am really loving what you're doing to help our youth and even help adults and just help change the world for a positive and better place. So kudos to you. Keep up the great work. And again, thank you so much for your service. I know you served in the Air Force. Freedom is not free. And so I appreciate you and your sacrifices.
Thank you so much.
Like they're playing chess. You say playing checkers, not chess. The Falcons playing checkers, not chess.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. And life is chess, not checkers. We have to learn that there's checkers. Checkers, you use a hand for the board. Chess, you using every single square on the board. And I show people, like I say, everything is about manipulating the defense. Everything is about tricky. I'm going to line up this way and I'm going to do something so bizarre. You're going to be like, what the world? Yeah, that's why we scored. That's what I do. I'm going to trick you. I'm going to manipulate you. Why? Because if your opponent know what you're going to do, he's going to stop it every time.
We're going to put it up on the screen there. Hopefully everybody can see it right there. I'm going to pop it up here. There is the website link to the site right there. It's www.besomeone.org and then, /Orrin /Hudson bio. So if you want to find out more about him, there it is. There's the website link right there. You can find it. And there's our man, Mr. Orrin Hudson right there. And we appreciate you, brother, for coming on. One more time, social media handle and website so people can follow you wherever you go.
Well, I'm on Orrin Checkmate Hudson on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm besomeone.org. It's be someone with an O, not with a zero, not an O. It's zero because they didn't have it available. But I'm easy to find. I'm on YouTube. I got 1 million videos on YouTube. I've helped over 88,000 kids. My goal is 1 million. I've been on CNN. I've been on Good Morning America. I've done stuff with Steve Harvey, Tyler Perry, Jane Fonda. I'm living my dream because I'm teaching young people how to put brains before bullets. Think it out, don't shoot it out. The only way to fight is to use your head. Let me show you guys a shirt because I want you to know my main message. This is my main message. It's brains before bullets. The only way to fight is to use your head. Like I said, I was a state trooper for 7 years. 7 people were shot in a robbery for $2,000. And I said to myself, bad things continue to happen when concerned people fail to make boss moves. I made a boss move and started Be Someone because I want young people to be all God created you to be and never settle for less than you can be. You want to talk about failure. Failure is critical, but let's use this example. It's stronger than Henry Ford. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before he invented the light bulb. And people came to him and said, Thomas Edison, you a fool. He said, don't you know men was meant to live by candlelight? Don't you know you failed over 10,000 times? He said, no, I've not failed. I've successfully identified 10,000 ways the light bulb can't be made, which puts me 10,000 ways closer. So make failure your vitamin. Failure is weakness leaving the body. The more you fail, the stronger you be. It's going to be hard for anybody to beat me in chess. Why? I've lost more games than anybody alive, and I brag about it. And so it's going to be hard to take me out because I've seen this movie before. And if I seen the movie before, he said, why is he getting on a horse when he could have took the plane? Well, the plane crashed and I seen the movie. So I got on the horse. I got there before everyone else. So I show people how to navigate through. I show them what the landmines are, and I teach them what sometimes in life, what looks like a bad move is a good move. And sometimes in life, you have to respectfully listen to the best advice on the planet and then do the exact opposite. Why? What's possible for you may be invisible to the world.
Wow. Well, that wraps up right there, brother. Again, you see us scrolling underneath. BeSomeone.org. Oren Checkmate Hudson, thanks for joining us, sir. And we look forward to having you back again real soon. God bless, bro.
Peace, sir.
Yeah, a lot going on, guys, and we try to spotlight people that are doing some great things. As you two guys are both doing your own thing in the community, so we appreciate you. Speaking of doing our own thing, we got to go. So you know how we do it, folks. Before we let everybody get off the air, we want to make sure that you know how to find out more about them. So before we get up and out of here, Mr. Tyrone Poole, the floor is yours.
Tyrone Poole 38, all social media. Tyrone Poole 38. Been a pleasure. Thank you, Queen Tree. Always a pleasure, Jonathan. Everybody watching and listening, be safe. Go work that thing. See you next time.
God bless you, sir.
Work that thing.
All right.
Miss Tree Dolman, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. You can find me on all social media at It's Latresa, as well as Ms. America International 2022. Thank you for tuning in.
All right, guys, we appreciate you. Each and every one of you who have joined us here on the broadcast. I'll get myself on the screen in a minute. Here I am. Yeah, so again, we appreciate you. You want to follow me on social media and follow the show, please. You can follow the show at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. You can follow me personally at Minister J. Sim. Again, if you have a great sports story, you know, a coach, a parent, a player that's doing some great things off the field as well as on the field, please hit me up via email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net, or simply give me a call, 678-410-9833. Well, you know, guys, I'm going to encourage you to do what I always do before I let go of this broadcast. If you are not connected to God, if you don't have a relationship with God through a belief in his son, Jesus Christ, I'm asking you, I'm imploring you, please, man, please, sir, get to do that today. Why? Nobody loves you like Jesus. Not your mom, not your auntie, not your bae, not your boo, nobody. Why? Because he created you and he did something unbelievable. He died for your sins. But the good news is he rose from the dead. And when he arose, he had 2 beautiful things in his hands. Number 1, the biggest thing is salvation. And salvation means that now you, sir, you, ma'am, can go to God, the creator of the universe, as your father. Ask him for anything you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And number 2, when you die, you get to go to that spectacular place called heaven, where everything is beautiful, every building adorned with those spectacular jewels that have never been made. Matter of fact, all the gates of the city are made of one giant pearl. The streets are paved with a gold. It's so pure, it's translucent. And you get to see Jesus, God, face to face, and meet up with all those people that went on before you, your grandmom, your auntie, maybe your favorite pastor, that person that maybe helped lead you to Christ, are all going to be there. And there's no pain, no pandemic, no protests, no bad people. It's sunny all the time. You never get sick. You never get old. And you never die again. And you avoid that unhappy place called hell, where all the things that are in heaven won't be in hell. So it stinks, it's dreary, bad people everywhere. But most of all, you get cut off from God and all the people you love forever and a day. I don't know about you, but I like option number 1 instead of option number 2. All right, guys, until the next time we see you again, may Lord God bless you real good, and see you next time. So long.